884 एकड़ में फैली हुई औद्योगिक टाउनशिप का विकास 3 चरणों में होगा। तो फिलहाल जो ये लाइट कॉम्बैट हेलीकॉप्टर्स की बात हो या जो लाइट यूटिलिटी हेलीकॉप्टर्स हो और आत्मनिर्भर रक्षा क्षेत्र में निर्भर भारत की जब बात होती है तो ये निश्चित तौर पर एक मील का पत्थर साबित होगा। हमारी संवाददाता नंदिता डागर इस पूरी खबर पर बातचीत करने के लिए हमारे साथ जुड़ी हुई है। नंदिता, आपसे जो एचएएल का ये कारखाना है इसकी खासियत के बारे में तो जानेंगे ही, पहले अपने दर्शकों को बता दें कि ये जो एक प्रोटोटाइप, एक मॉडल प्रधानमंत्री को सौंपा गया है हेलीकॉप्टर का, और यहाँ पर उन्होंने इसको राष्ट्र को सौंपने की इसको लोकार्पण करेंगे हेलीकॉप्टर कारखाने का प्रधानमंत्री। साल 2016 में इसकी नींव भी प्रधानमंत्री ने रखी थी। तो कितना खास, कितना महत्वपूर्ण, और रक्षा क्षेत्र में जब हम आत्मनिर्भरता की बात करते हैं तो उसके लिए कितना बड़ा ये कदम देख रही नंदिता?
है जो आजादी के अमृत काल में हमें 2047 में एरोस्पेस इंजीनियरिंग और मैन्युफैक्चर में, यानी कि न सिर्फ फौजी लड़ाकू विमान, फौजी हेलीकॉप्टर, बल्कि यहाँ तो केवल हेलीकॉप्टर ही बनाए जाएंगे ऑब्वियसली।
All right, these are live visuals that are coming in from Karnataka, and Prime Minister Modi inaugurating the India Energy Week. He's inaugurating Asia's largest helicopter factory to boost Atmanirbhar Bharat program in the defense sector. Shiv Arur joins us from the newsroom now for the latest on this. Shiv, if you could walk our viewers through the big push as far as Atmanirbhar Bharat is concerned. I'm throwing straight across to you in the newsroom for more.
Very, very symbolic images coming in from Tumakuru, which is just about 100 kilometers from Bengaluru. These are images of Prime Minister Modi at the big HAL helicopter factory. This is now India's biggest military helicopter facility, one of the largest also in the region. This is where all future Indian helicopters for the armed forces are to be constructed. The Prime Minister is being given a tour by the HAL corporate leadership. He's flanked by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh as well as State Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai. Now, the helicopter you see in these images is the first airframe of what is called the light utility helicopter. Now, the light utility helicopter is basically going to be procured and manufactured in very large numbers at this very facility near Bengaluru for the Army, Navy, Air Force as well as the Coast Guard. These are light 3 to 5 ton helicopters that will perform all manner of operations, both over land and over sea. They're specially built to replace, the very familiar Cheetah and Chetak helicopters, which are currently operational in large numbers, across our services. This particular helicopter is fully indigenous. The engine is of French origin, but it's manufactured here in India. And these helicopters, roughly about 187 to 200 of these helicopters will be built by HAL at this facility where the Prime Minister is being given a tour. Now remember that the Indian military has been reasonably self-reliant when it comes to military helicopters for quite a while now, yeah, owing to the famous ALH Dhruv. The Dhruv helicopter is one of the best-selling helicopters used in large numbers by the 3 armed forces as well as the Coast Guard. Those helicopters are built in Bengaluru, but owing to lack of space, owing to lack of adequate infrastructure for more modern construction, HAL had decided that they need to build a factory somewhere outside Bengaluru. They had identified this land over a decade ago. In 2016, the foundation stone for this facility was laid by Prime Minister Modi. And in this facility now, apart from the light utility helicopter itself, other types of indigenous helicopters are also expected to be constructed, including the Prachand, which is the light combat helicopter which entered service with the Indian Air Force last year. The Indian multi-role helicopter, which will be a platform that augments and then replaces the workhorse Mi-17 helicopters, will also be manufactured at this particular facility. Not many of our viewers may know that the Indian government and Russia have a joint venture to manufacture a Russian helicopter called the Kamov 226T Sergei, also a light helicopter. That is also expected to take place at this very facility.
Shiv, is
once
this
it's fully up
Asia's
and running,
biggest
it's going to be a
manufacturing
buzzing,
unit that will exist, or is there anything bigger than that, or this is as biggest can be?
ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ ಹೆಸರು ಇದರ ಹೆಲಿಕಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಕಾರ್ಖಾನೆ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಸಮರ್ಪಣೆ ಲಘು ಉಪಯೋಗಿ ಹೆಲಿಕಾಪ್ಟರ್
Shiv, can you hear me?
ತುಮಕೂರು
Head.
ಕೈಗಾರಿಕಾ ಟೌನ್ಶಿಪ್ ಯೋಜನೆ ಹಾಗೂ
Shiv, is this going to be Asia's biggest manufacturing unit for helicopters ever? And please correct me if I'm wrong there.
It's going to be one of the biggest. I cannot confirm whether it will be the biggest because there are some pretty large facilities, in Japan and China most certainly, and certain other countries. But it certainly is going to be one of the biggest, Chaiti. Nothing on this scale. 615 acres is a pretty large facility. There are going to be concerns, however, because at this point of time, the number of orders for the helicopters that are intended to be manufactured here are still very, very small. The capacity in this particular factory is the ability to manufacture anywhere between 30 to 90 helicopters per year, and that number could actually go up. But at this point of time, the sad reality is that only about 25 helicopters have actually been ordered. There is an intention to order many more, and I'm sure the government knows what it's doing, including the Ministry of Defence, but they will have to place those orders as quickly as possible because the factory will have to operate at a certain tempo, at a certain rate to keep the production line hot. Otherwise things may just waste away and lose relevance. So this is a large facility. It's a very ambitious facility. It's way bigger than anything HAL has operated before. With the Prime Minister there now, with his blessings, with the formal inauguration of production at this facility, it's going to be something to very much look forward to. The first LUH, the life-size helicopter you saw that the Prime Minister was walking next to, Chaiti, is actually the first airframe of the light utility helicopter, one of 4 helicopters that are going to be handed over to the Indian Army in just the next few days. Also to tell our viewers that the Aero India show is scheduled, for February 13th to 17th. So the Prime Minister will be there to inaugurate the show as well. So this was a timed event to make sure that there's enough of a spotlight on what is a very, very important indigenous project.